Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. I know this video is long overdue, but today we're going to be doing an overview of the new changes coming in Splatoon 3's Sizzle season. Now this season just released on June 1st, so 4 days ago at the time of me recording this video, but they released the patch notes a while back, so I'm a little bit late, but hopefully you guys will enjoy the video, so let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, so let's start with some of the first changes. Like I said, this update or the new season started on June 1st, 4 days ago, and they're going to be changing a few things. So obviously you're getting a new catalog with new gear, titles, splash tags, decoration stickers, and emotes. Those decorations are for your lockers. So if you're interested in any of those things, definitely consider, grinding out this season's catalog. It's going to be pretty cool. I saw some really cool emotes that are on the Twitter that I might show if I can find them a little bit later in the video. But yeah, there's just some cool stuff as always, so go check out that catalog if you would like to know what's there. I will leave a link. There's a site called Splatoon Wiki, and they usually have the full catalog on a web page, so I'll leave the link to that in the description down below. Now, the next change we're getting is a new stage called Barnacle and Dime. It looks pretty interesting. I've played it myself a few times. I'm going to be starting a new series on the channel called Map Spotlights, where I basically just, not play a map, but, I'm going to go into the map in the recon mode, check it out, give my thoughts on it. They should be only like 5 to 6 minute videos, so look forward to the one I'm going to start making on Barnacle and Dime, probably within the next few days. But yeah, very cool map. Definitely recommend you guys go try it out. And it also has something to do with the new challenge mode that they've put into the game, which I'll go over later as well. Now, we've got a returning battle stage from Splatoon 2, Humpback Pump Track. This map was pretty cool and pretty well liked in Splatoon 2. However, there were some issues with it. Backlines like Splatlings have a really good time on this map, so it'll be interesting to see the changes they've made. I know that they did some, and I noticed some, but I didn't notice all of them. So again, I'm going to be making another map spotlight on this version of Humpback Pump Track and going over all the differences in Splatoon 3 for the map. Now, I've got two new main weapons, and when they say two new main weapons, they mean completely new types. That is the S-Blast 92 right here, and the Paintbrush, right? So they're not different, classes of weapons. The S-Blast is a blaster, and the Paintbrush is obviously just a brush, but they're new types. So yeah, we'll go over those in a second, just going over the rest of the changes here. 9 new sets of existing main weapons paired with different sub and special weapons. So basically that's just saying 9 new kits for weapons that already exist. So we'll go over those too. A new Salmon Run stage, Jammin' Salmon Junction. I've played this one, it's very interesting. I'm not sure if there's a way for me to do recon of Salmon Run maps, but if there is, I will do one, like a map spotlight on that map too. And 11 new table turf cards. I haven't done table turf content on this channel, but I do play it on my stream on twitch.tv/ZazoftheLite, so if you guys want to see me playing table turf or talking much about it, probably have to go over to my stream, because I don't know enough about it to, put it in this video. But yeah, they are putting new table turf cards out if that's your thing. Alright, so let's go into the changes to multiplayer. They added 3 new songs that played during battle. Again, there's just not much to say. There are 3 new songs. I really like the songs. I've heard 2 of them, I think. I actually didn't know that they added 3. I've heard 2 of them, so I still have to wait to hear the 3rd one. They sound really interesting. They are very much not Splatoon vibes, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't feel like Splatoon, but they're still cool. So definitely recommend you guys hop into some battles and listen to those songs. You might even be able to find them in the jukebox as well in the main lobby. New main weapons have been added. So these are the 2 new weapons, the S-Blast 92. So it says it's a new blaster that can switch between 2 ways of shooting. The way you do this is the same way that you switch between the flicking and the normal flicking of a roller. So you know how there's the vertical flick and then the horizontal swing? It's, when you are on the ground, it's the horizontal swing. When you're in the air, it's vertical. Same thing for this one. So when you're on the ground, it's kind of like a rapid blaster type of shooting mode. And when you're in the air, it's more like a Luna blaster. So pretty interesting. I've tried it a few times. If I like it enough, I might make a guide on it. But for now, I just recommend you guys go out there and try it. You can at least give it a test, even if you don't have the tickets to buy the weapon, by going to Sheldon's store and just clicking the test option there. So yeah, that's the first weapon. And the paintbrush, this is the one that I'm very excited about. So the first swing of the paintbrush is slow, and when they say slow, it's very, very slow. I've played it; it's very slow. But you can keep flinging it, and it gets faster, like each fling, and it has a really big range and does a ton of damage at that range. So it's a very interesting weapon. I really like it. I would recommend you guys definitely buy this one and try it out. And I will be making a guide about this weapon in the future to talk about it in more depth. So for now, let's go on to the new weapon kit here. We've got the Anaki, or Anaki, I forgot how you pronounce it, but I think it's Anaki. Splattershot Nova. Ink Mine and Inkjet. Inkjet is decent. I'm not a big fan of the Ink Mine, especially on a weapon like this. You guys know I've made a guide on the Splattershot Nova before. So if you guys watch the channel, you'll know that I really love this weapon. I'm a big fan of the range it has and the abilities that it has to keep people out and catch people off guard with its range, but Ink Mine feels meh. I'm not sure which sub they could have added, but the Ink Mine just doesn't feel like the right thing for this weapon, because while you are in midline range, you don't really want to hang back and just place mines, but who knows, maybe it'll be good. So we'll try that out. H3 Nozzle Nose D, and that's coming with the sub weapon Splash Wall, which is great, especially for Nozzle Nose. There have been previous Nozzle Nose kits that have had Splash Walls, and they've been amazing. People love Splash Wall on Nozzle Nose, so that should be fun. Big Bubbler. Now, this one's actually pretty interesting that they're adding Big Bubbler to Nozzle Nose. I feel like this is kind of the same thing as them adding Armor to Nozzle Nose in Splatoon 2, and adding, I think it had Bubbler in Splatoon 1. So it seems like this is just the version of Nozzle Nose that's defensive in this game. So there you go. If you want a defensive Nozzle Nose, this is the kit for you. Rapid Blaster Pro Deco with the Angle Shooter and the Killer Whale 5.1. This is really interesting. I think both of these weapons are really inconsistent. Killer Whale, if you don't know how to use it properly, can be hard to get kills with. It's just best for applying pressure and forcing people to move. An Angle Shooter has a really, really, really low radius of being able to hit people, so it's also pretty inconsistent. They buffed it a few patches ago to make its radius of hitting bigger. When it lands on a surface, it explodes, and that's a little bit bigger. But it still feels inconsistent, so I'm not sure about this kit. Blaster mains in the chat. I'm thinking Twitch chat. Blaster mains in the comments. You guys got to let me know down below what you guys think of this kit, because I'm not really a Blaster pro. I can only talk about these two weapons individually, so yeah. The S-Blast 92, the new weapon, is getting Sprinkler and Reef Slider. Now, this is pretty cool. Reef Slider is a great weapon, special weapon, very aggressive, really good at going in, catching people off guard. And I'm trying to think. I can't remember if they nerfed it or buffed it recently, but it got some changes, so worth keeping those in mind. If you want to check those out, I'm sure I made a video on the last big patch, so go check out that video. But yeah, it has Reef Slider, so you can be aggressive with it. It's also got Sprinkler to cover more ink, so maybe to cover the weakness of it being a blaster where it's not going to be able to paint all that well and all that quickly. Sprinkler's going to help you out with that. Now with Big Swig Roller, this is a new version of the weapon we got last season. It's going to come, it's the Big Swig Roller Express, and it's going to come with Angle Shooter and Inkstorm. So Inkstorm is going to be a really good way for you to paint zones or deny, a certain choke point in Rainmaker and Clam. I think this weapon is going to excel especially in zones, because you're going to be able to get a ton of coverage with the Inkstorm. I still am not a big fan of the Angle Shooter for the reasons I mentioned above, but it is what it is. So I'd say at least look forward to the Inkstorm. Now, Paintbrush. This is the one I'm excited about. Curling Bomb. Really good. Out of the subs it could have gotten, I'm very happy that it got Curling Bomb. I would have preferred Burst Bomb, but maybe that would have made the weapon a little bit too broken for its mobility and its easy kills. Curling Bomb is great because it allows you to be mobile, where the Paintbrush is really slow, so having those Curling Bombs to get wherever you need to go can be very helpful. And the Wavebreaker is exactly what I wanted on it because I figured, you know, they already have one with Zipcaster and they already have some brushes with some of the other specials, you know, some of the more aggressive ones. But with Wavebreaker, it gives you the ability to kind of mess with people and tack on some damage and maybe call out their location to teammates. And then the Paintbrush can just finish them off very quickly from a good range. So Wavebreaker, I'm very happy about. Like I said, I'll be doing a guide on this weapon in the future, so look forward to that. Heavy Splatling Deco, Point Sensor, and Kraken Royale. Not much to say about this one. Point Sensor is, you know, it's decent. It shows people's location to you, so that could be helpful on a backline. Kraken Royale is meh. I feel like usually putting aggressive specials on backlines isn't the best, but specifically Kraken Royale could be used for backlines to get out of bad situations when they're being pushed. So you never know. That could really come in clutch for the heavy splatling users out there. So yeah. Custom Dually Squelchers getting Squid Beacon and Super Chump. I really like this. We'll see it later, but they did buff Super Chump. So I'm very happy that it has that. I feel like Super Chump is a super underrated special just because it's not that great at doing really anything other than applying some pressure. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with the Dually Squelchers, which have a ton of range and are also very good at moving around quickly without a lot of lag, unlike the other Dualies, except for Tetris, of course. With the Squid Beacon, this is going to get your teammates back into the battle much quicker, and will also point out some information to you and your team on the minimap. So really interesting to see that on this weapon. Definitely make sure to use these a ton and run some Sub-Saber while you're at it so they don't eat up your entire tank. Now we've got Light Tetra Dualies. That's going to be Sprinkler and Zipcaster. Zipcaster is the insane thing here. I think Zipcaster, like for a weapon as aggressive as Tetra's, having the ability to jump close to people, shoot, and then, you know, roll around is going to be great. The one thing I'd say is maybe run some special power up and some ink saver, just so that, you know, when you do your dodge rolls, you're going to consume less ink and you'll have more ink in your tank, or, you know, have more time on the Zipcaster special so you can do more damage. Other than that, seems like a great special. It's going to be super fun to play with, and Sprinkler is just going to allow you to cover even more of the map with your ink. It doesn't really need that. Tetris is already great at covering, but, you know, it's an added bonus, so why not, right? Tenebrella with Ink Mines and Trizuka. I like the Trizuka because the Tenebrellas, like Brellas in general, are struggling in this game, but specifically the Tenebrella can be really good at dealing damage to like objects even without Object Shredder. So things like, you know, a crab or the big bubbler or something like that. It's really good at that if you can hit all your pellets. So having Trizuka, which is an amazing special at also destroying those other specials, is going to be really helpful for it. And Ink Mines, again, meh, but it can be helpful. So there are some uses where Brella players might want to use that. So sure, we'll take it, but probably not the best. Splatana Wiper Deco. Now, Splatana Wiper has been used a lot in competitive. I want to start doing some more competitive content on the channel, but, you know, for now, I'll just say that a lot of people in competitive Splatoon use the Splatana Wiper. It's great ever since it got its fire rate buffed. People can just spam it and it shoots even faster than before. It's got an amazing range, the charge shot, 2 shots, and it charges really quickly, so it's just a great weapon overall. Having Squid Beacon is, you know, really helpful for you because, again, you can get your teammates back into the fight quicker and also give your teammates some information on the minimap if some of the enemies are within the radius of that beacon. And then it having 10 missiles is just going to be amazing for applying pressure. One of the better pressure applying specials. And also, at least it's not, you know, Ultra Stamp was struggling beforehand. So at least, you know, the main Splatana Wiper, having Ultra Stamp, now you have an other option that's not, you know, going to be harder to use. So definitely look out for this if you're a Splatana Wiper player. This is going to be a great weapon that we should see a ton. Now, moving on to the specifications for some main weapons. They're just doing some tuning here, guys. So we're going to get carbon rollers, both of them. Basically, when you hold down the ZR button, let's see. So, okay, so now basically you're just going to reach your top speed faster than before. When you're just holding the ZR button and you're just running with it, you're going to reach it about 1/6 faster than you would have before. Of a second, by the way. Octobrush. Reduce the amount of ink consumed by swinging the brush by 6%. So you're going to have more ink in the tank overall after using, you know, your swipes. Reduce the amount of ink consumed when running as well when you hold the ZR button. by 7%. So that's great. That means Octobrush is just going to have more ink in general. So if you were running a ton of Ink Saver main, maybe consider removing some of those abilities from your gear and swapping them with something else. You might not need it as much anymore. Snipe Rider 5H, this is the one where you charge it and then you can shoot like 6 shots individually. Reduce the amount of ink consumed by approximately 13%. Nice. Increase movement speed while charging and while fully charged by approximately 13%. This isn't bad. These are good buffs, and the Snipe Rider was kind of struggling. The way I look at something like this weapon is if you want fast charge and fast kills, then just use Bamboozler or Squiffer. Otherwise, just use a normal charger, which will just one-shot kill. So I feel like Snipe Rider is in a weird position where it's worse than all of the other chargers because they just all do its job better, but maybe this will get more people trying the weapon out. So if that's you, then definitely go take a look at it. Splash-O-Matic and the Neo Splash-O-Matics, both of them, shorten forward ink spread from the point of impact by approximately 10%. So I think this just means that your ink spread is less. Like, you're not going to be spreading ink as far as you would have with these, which is great. They shouldn't be able to kill super fast, have these like okay range, be very accurate, and paint like amazingly, right? They got to have some weaknesses, and the Splash-O-Matics are already like some of the best weapons in the game. So I think this is fair enough. If I'm reading this correctly, I think this nerf is fair. Sloshing Machine lengthened the interval between continuous swings by approximately 5. Oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, by approximately 5 out of 60 of a second, right? That's ridiculous. So what is that saying exactly? That's saying basically it increased the amount of time between you being able to swing by this interval. So you're gonna swing, you're spamming ZR, you can't do it as fast now. That's interesting. I'm not sure if Sloshing Machine needed that, but I don't know, maybe they felt like people were just killing too quickly with it, so that might be their answer. And lastly, the Splatana Stamper, so this is not the Splatana Wiper, but the more heavy version of the weapon, narrowed the width of ink launched by horizontal slashes by approximately 14%. So now you're not going to be able to catch people as far horizontally with your swings, and increased the amount of ink consumed by approximately 30%. This is ridiculous, by the way. They usually never do this. This is a huge nerf to the weapon. Increasing the amount of ink consumed by 30% is rough. It means that, you know, using your sub and then if you want to do swings afterward is going to hurt a lot. But maybe they felt as though you shouldn't have that much ink for a weapon that's supposed to be heavy. So they want you to be using a lot more ink on every swipe. Definitely recommend using some more Ink Saver main on this weapon if you were not beforehand. Okay guys, now we're moving on to the specifications for some special weapons. So, Big Bubbler. This is the changes to the specials. Big Bubbler, increase the barrier's maximum radius. Nice, so now you're going to have even more space inside of that Big Bubbler than you did before. I wish they would tell you how much, but maybe that's hard to like give the notation. Reduce the damage taken from some special weapons to approximately 50 to 70% of what it was before. That's really, really good. So this means that, like, for example, if the weapon gets destroyed in 2 shots by an Inkzooka, like I was talking about before, where Inkzooka is really good at destroying, you know, objects, now maybe it takes you like 3 or 4 shots with Inkzooka. Trizooka. Now maybe it takes like multiple shots from the Trizooka in order for you to break a Big Bubbler shield. So that's really good. That's going to make the weapon a lot more resilient against special weapons. Actually, you know what? I think Trizooka could have one-shot it if you hit the top. So this is great. Hopefully it doesn't just get destroyed instantly. Tacticooler extended the drink's effect by 2 seconds when not equipped with special power-up. So just base kit, 2 seconds has been added onto the duration. And then the effect duration gained from equipping the maximum number of special power-up gear abilities will not change. Okay, so special power-up gear abilities doesn't change it, but they're just giving it 2 seconds without it, so that's great. Made it easier to activate the effect from the special power-up gear ability, even when the player only has a few items. So maybe it just procs. But I forgot specifically what special power-up does with Tacticooler, so I'm assuming that it increases the duration. I'm pretty sure that it increases the duration that the drink lasts. So maybe they're just saying that, like, it's easier to grab it or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what this is saying. But either way, buffs to Tacticooler are always helpful. And not many people seem to use it after the beginning of the game with the end zap. So maybe that'll help people play those weapons more. Now, this is the one I'm very excited for, the Super Chump. Increased radius of the decoys when they, explode. Or actually when they drop by 40%. So when they drop and they paint at the bottom of their feet, that's going to be increased by 40%. And then it increases the minimum damage dealt by the explosions from 25 to 35. So getting 10 damage tacked on. And then made it impossible to aim for nearer positions than before, or made it possible to aim for nearer positions than before. So maybe like before, when you couldn't maybe do the super jump right in front of you or like very close in front of you, now you can do it very much closer to you if you want. And also, I mean, the real good part about this is going to help you with painting, but this is the real star here because it means the explosions are going to do a lot more damage. Now, instead of you needing what was essentially 4 of them to hit bang on for somebody to die, now you only need 3 of them to hit. And the additional damage is great anyway, because if somebody is already damaged, then this might just finish them off. So Super Chump definitely getting a good buff here. It was needed. Hopefully this gives it some more impact. Now let's look at the Ultra Stamp for the last one. Shorten the effect duration by approximately 1.5 seconds when not equipped with the special power-up gear ability. So similar to Tactical, are just getting its duration buffed, which is great. And same thing, the effect isn't buffed by special power-up gear abilities. They're just giving it base kit. And then made the effect easier to activate. So maybe there was some problem with special power-up not activating, or like delayed activation. So maybe they're fixing that, I guess, is what that would mean. So now looking at the points required for some of the weapons, they've changed that. For Neosplash-O-Matic, you now need 210 points to reach your special. Rapid Blaster Deco needs 210, and Ballpoint Splatling needs 200. So basically, for these 3 weapons, you need a little bit more, ink painted, a little bit, a few more points, 10 more points to get to your special. Usually they do this when they feel like the special's good on the weapon and it's getting it really quickly. So this is going to just take you a little bit longer. I wouldn't say it's worth adding any special power up, but if you don't have any, then maybe adding a sub might be helpful. If you already have some, then don't go any further. So yeah. Now let's look at some of these changes below here. Made it so that players cannot super jump to a teammate's position in tower control mode when that teammate jumped from a tower to a wall and their current position is separated. So I'm assuming that these are just some changes that they're making so that you can't jump in a weird position. Like maybe, what I'm assuming is like maybe it would jump you to the wrong spot. So they're changing that up. Made it so that when certain conditions are met, 2 players on the winning team who made great efforts will celebrate with each other. This is very cool. I'll try to show you guys this a little bit later with the Twitter post that they made. But basically, if you have 2 compatible emotes and you both did well and you're standing next to each other, what you'll do in the victory screen is you'll do your emote and then you'll like stop near the end of it and you'll give each other a little bit of a fist bump with some effects around the fist bump. It's very cool. So I would recommend you guys keeping an eye out for that. And again, I'll try to show you in a Twitter clip. Now made it possible to select from 2 different ink color combinations when color lock is enabled. Cool. Some more accessibility options. Color lock combination number 1 is close to the previous setting. And then when battling with 2 teams, the colors will remain the same. But during tricolor turf war, the colors will remain the same as well. And color lock number 2 is... Okay, so this is an option that provides support for cases where it was still difficult to play with color lock. So maybe color lock, the colors it locked into were still hard for some people to see. So they're adding another option so that for those people, they have a different option that makes it actually easier. So we love to see accessibility options in games always, so that's great for the people who needed that and were asking for it. Now, this is a new mode that they are introducing into the game. It's called Challenges. And basically how it works is that they're going to release a certain mode, so it might be Turf War or Ranked or whatever. It seems like it's Turf War in the beginning. And basically how the challenge works is that in that mode, you're going to be using like a certain weapon or playing a certain mode. And it's kind of got this competitive aspect to it where it gives you power for each win and you lose power for each loss. But it's a lot more chill and it gives you some rewards for every 5 matches you win. So as you can see, challenges are limited time battles with special rules. They can also serve as online tournament qualifiers. So they're going to be tournament qualifiers in the future. Players can participate solo or in a group. You can be broken up into 3 time slots. So like basically the challenges will be in 3 different time slot versions so that people from all over the world can join. And each time slot will be 2 hours long. As players battle, their challenge power will be calculated. That's what I said, just like ranked. And it will be determined for you individually. If a group's member changes, then the group will be considered a new group and your challenge power will reset. So keep that in mind. If you change people, your power will be reset. Once a certain amount of time has passed since the end of the challenge, players will be able to check the lobby terminal to see how high their challenge power was overall. And maybe they'll give you additional rewards for how high you place. Challenge power distribution is measured in 3 divisions: solo, duos, and teams. So that way, you know, somebody who's queuing in solo won't be compared to somebody who has a full squad, right? Which is great. That's good for balancing. And 3-player groups are considered part of the teams division. Fair enough. Made it possible to use the shellout machine with shellout tokens. So yeah, every 5 wins you get in these challenge modes, you'll get a shellout token, and it's basically just a free use of the shellout machine. So yeah. But I guess you can only earn 1 per challenge. So even if you aren't really a big fan of the mode, maybe at least play until you get 5 wins so you can get that free shellout token. Now they're doing some changes to Anarchy Battle, which are going to basically change how your points are calculated for your team. So I guess now let's see, made it so that Anarchy Power will be calculated for your team as a whole when participating in Anarchy Battle with friends. So now it's all of you instead of all of your individual powers included. It's just all of you are considered one unit. And it's going to change based on wins and losses. So it's reset when the modes or stages switch now. If a group's member changes, yep, exactly, you'll be considered a new group, a new entity, and therefore your power will be reset. Once a certain amount of time has passed since the mode or stage switch, players will be able to check the lobby terminal. Yeah, and you'll be able to now see your power, which is great. Anarchy power distribution, same thing. So 3 players are considered a team now. So it just seems like they're making these changes in general. They greatly changed the matchmaking mechanism in Anarchy Battle Open to improve matchmaking efficiency for groups of 2 players, so hopefully you get into games faster if you're a duo. Made it possible to select change gear, then go after the battle ends in Anarchy Battle Open. I'm surprised this wasn't an option before, but that's great. Now you don't have to leave the queue every time you want to change your gear, you can just change it and then get right back in. And you can still maintain the group, so yeah. Made it so that selecting stop after a battle ends will return players to the awaiting ready state instead of forcing them to leave the room when participating. Again, just making things more seamless, quality of life changes, so Anarchy battles with squads is much better. This should be interesting. I don't play with a ton of people all the time, but for those who do, especially competitive players, maybe this will be a lot more fun. Okay guys, so just to give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on, basically they've posted some images of some of the new weapons that you're going to be able to play with and some of the new emotes. These are some of the new emotes that we have. They're very cool and very cute. And then if you both do well, you see that little fist bump in the middle there. That's what I was talking about, that new emote. Very cool. I love that a lot. They're also adding some different things to the game, like you can see new decorations. These are some of the new weapons, the custom dually squelchers. This is what they look like now. They have the yellow tips. This is the heavy splatling deco, the big swig roller express. And then if I go up a little bit, you'll also be able to see the paintbrush right here and the SR blast, whatever the number was. Basically, they have that right here. So that's very cool that we get to see those in these pictures. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what these new weapons look like so you can see for yourself, just a little sneak peek. And I also recommend going into the game and checking them out yourselves. Hope you guys enjoyed. Look forward to more videos coming from me this week. I'll be doing some map spotlights like I talked about, and I'll also be doing a guide video on the paintbrush coming up soon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.